Hello everyone, and welcome to the next video in the course. And in this video we are going to be looking at how we can create more complex functions. Okay, so typically when we are going to be writing functions, we will need some information. So for example, if we wanted to create a function that outputs a name, we will need the name. Okay, and for this what we will have to use is parameters, and when we are writing functions, these go in the brackets. So let's have a look at that example. So since we are just outputting and not returning anything, we use void since we are not returning anything, and here we will just put output name as the name of the function. And usually up until now we've not given anything in the brackets, and now in the brackets is where we write the information that is required when the function is called. Okay, so in the output name function we need a name, and for this we have to create a variable to store that name for the duration of the function. Okay, name is a string, so we write string name. Okay, and that's all there is. And now, as we did before, we can just write the code in between the curly brackets. So I can output cout, the name is name. Okay, and we can write name because name is the name of the variable which we declared in the brackets. Okay, so now here I can write output name. Sorry, not name. I will have to create put something in these speech marks, so I can write Alfie. So now what it will do is it will assign Alfie to name. Okay, and now when we save and run this, what we should get is the name is Alfie. Okay, so now let's save and run this, and let's see what happens. Okay, great. So as you can see, it says the name is Alfie, and now I can change this to anything. So I can write Bob, and we get the name is Bob. Tim, and we get the name is Tim. Okay, so the next function that we will create is what I would like you to create actually is a function that adds two numbers together and returns the answer. Okay, so just before you try this, if you want more than one variable or more than one parameter, these can just be separated by a comma. So I can put, if I wanted the name and the surname, I could have just written string surname, and then this would have to be separated by a comma as well, and in the second, for the second parameter, they would write the surname, and again we can also put the age, and here they would have to write the age. Okay, so now pause the video and have a go at creating a function that requires two parameters, that takes in two numbers, adds them together, and returns the answer. Okay, so press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. So first things first, what we have to do is think about what type of data type is it. So since it's returning a number, we will write int, and we're just going to assume that they're going to be whole numbers, so we're going to write int for integer. And for the name of the function, I'll write adder. And okay, so since we're going to need two numbers, I'll create the first variable of number 1 and the second to number 2. Okay, and here simply we can just return number 1 plus number 2. Okay, so that is simple enough. Next thing is in the main function, we can how we will write this is we can put int sum equals adder, and let's say 10 and 20, and let's output this. The sum is sum. Okay, so now if we save and run this, okay, so that's good. 10 and 20 is 30. Okay, and just so you're aware, we don't actually have to assign this to a variable. Instead, we can just do adder 10, 20. And as I said before, it's easy to just think of it as the function declaration, the calling of the function is just replaced with whatever is given here. So number 1 plus number 2 would be, in this case, 30. So adder would just be replaced with 30. Okay, so that's an easy way to think of it. So now if I can comment this out since it's not necessary. Now if we save and run this, it should give the same answer. Okay, great. The sum is 30. Okay, so now what I want you to try is the same thing but a multiplier. Okay, so press pause, have a go, and when you're ready, press play. Okay, so hopefully you notice that we won't have to make much of a change here, and you may have written a new function, but that's fine. So you can just change this to multiplier and just change this to a times, a asterisk for times, and we'll just change this to multiplier, and we'll just put 5 times 4, which should give 20. So we'll just do this. Okay, great. The answer is 20. Okay. Just finally, I'd like to go over one other thing, and that is that you can create variables inside the function. So for example, I could have done int answer equals number 1 times number 2, and then I could have returned answer. Okay, but obviously we didn't need to, and this is a bit useless. So, but just for an example, I'll show you that this is something that you can do. So now if we save and run this, we get the same answer. And something that you have to remember is something that is important, is that if you create a variable here or here, it isn't available anywhere else apart from in the function, and that is to do with scopes, and we'll look at that at a later date. So I hope you were able to follow along so far, and I will see you in the next video.